So thank you for those who are attending. My name is Kathy Welch, and I'm the recruitment specialist for Onondaga Pathways to Careers. And today we have on the call with us, we have Jay Harrison, He's our assistant director for OAR. We have Celestia Orazda. She is our SU liaison. And we have Laura Mokrisky, who is our career services coordinator with us. So thank you for attending. And for those of you who have not been able to attend any other sessions, I'm just going to give you a little background on Onondaga Pathways to Careers, or OPC. Onondaga Pathways to Careers is a 5-year demonstration grant funded by the Office of Disability Employment Policy through the Department of Labor. Its goal is to prepare students for transition from high school into college. Specifically, it is geared towards students who have a 504 or an IEP. So the goal of the program is to really focus on that senior year of high school and all you need to know to be ready to transition into a college classroom, for self-advocacy, as well as exploring college planning, which we're going to discuss today, and as well as exploring career pathways. That is a very large portion of the grant, and we really focus on, like Laura had said last week, we really focus on pathway before degree. We want to make sure you are on the right path to align with your strengths and your interests and really get you set up for what a career that you will enjoy in the future. So today, as I mentioned, our topic is college planning, and there has been a slight change in our programming, and Jay stepped in. He was supposed to be our next session, but he's actually going to take over this session to discuss that with you. And next session will be our director of OAR, Nancy Carr, will be talking about the disability and self-disclosure. But today we're going to hand it over to Jay Harrison, who's going to kick it off with college planning.
All right, thank you, Kathy. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? So I'm going to be doing a presentation on college planning. These sessions are designed to, make sure that students like you are provided with the necessary information and resources to help you make a decision on the next step in your life. So I'm going to open up my PowerPoint, do a presentation. There are going to be some moments where we ask you to interact with us, so you can use the chat feature to answer any questions we may have, or if you have any questions for me, you can ask them at the end of the session. I will be providing my contact information so that you can contact me if there's other questions you may have after the session, all right? All right, so this session is OPC Scholars College Planning. And again, I'm just gonna go over a brief overview on the necessary steps you should be considering or taking towards planning to go to college next year. So choosing a college, everyone has the ideal college for them. And these are things you should be asking yourself. So what's on your wish list for college? What do you consider a must-have when you choosing a college? For example, it can be a great sports team, having smaller classrooms, being able to live on campus. Me personally, I visited a friend who went to Lemoyne College, and one of the things I was introduced to was the cafeteria food. And at Lemoyne, they had 10 different options of cereals. Growing up in my house, there was often 2 cornflakes and the popular cereal brand that was popular at the moment. Fruity Pebbles was popular at the moment. So if you weren't at first at the table, you were stuck with the cornflake. So for me, a must-have was a great option of cafeteria food. But in the chat area, I asked that you put, what is your wish list? What are some of the things that college must have? If you're like me and you're a big fan of cereal, maybe the cafeteria option must be great in terms of the ideal college for you. Okay, so in the chat area, just write down some of the things you definitely want in your college. All right. But here are some other factors to consider. Do you want to go to a community college, or do you want to go to a university/college? Do you want to go to a public or private institute? And OCC is a public institute, whereas Lemoyne would be considered a private institute. Campus size, do you want to go to a big university like SU, or do you want to go to, a small college, for example, Buffalo State College in Buffalo? Programs that are available to you. Most colleges specialize in programs like technology or music. Some offer very different types of programs. So you have to really identify what program you're interested in, and does the college that you're interested in has that program. Locations is another key thing. Do you want to be close to home, or do you want to go far away from home? You want to go to college in Alaska where you still get the snow like you do in Syracuse, but it's far away from your parents. You want that distance. Also, services available for students with disabilities, and this is important as well. This is something that you should start thinking about. What type of services will be available for me when I go to college, so that I can continue those services that I received in high school that made me very successful and helped me out with my studies. Now, some colleges may have, some of the things on your wish list, and some may have none. But the reality is that you're trying to find the best fit for you. So you should prioritize, which college meet most of your needs, because it's going to be very difficult to find a college that meets all of your needs. And this is something that, you should definitely talk to your parents, a guidance counselor, or a teacher, to figure out what's important for you, because they can give you insight into things that you may even have thought about. For example, do they have are they familiar with the college that you're interested in? Or are they aware of how instructors instruct at a particular college? Like, these are insight that you can get from the resources that you already have available to you. And getting back to resources, getting help. There's different ways you can get information about college. You can get information from people who graduate from college, and that can be parents, family members, teachers. It could be a coach. If you go to church, it could be, someone that's a member of that church, or you're a part of a club. There's different resources to help you out to get an idea exactly what is college and how do you navigate it. Your guidance counselor is going to probably be your biggest ally in your search. They can help you explore these options, and you should be visiting them regularly during your senior year. So that way you can make a very informed decision about the colleges that you're interested in. There's also college fairs going on. A lot of them are virtual. We are having a college fair as well. I know Kathy's going to provide you with more information about that. But a lot of colleges right now, because of COVID, are doing virtual college fairs. And some college fairs are actually hosted inside high schools as well. So definitely keep, like I mentioned before, stay in contact with your guidance counselor to see if there's any colleges doing any tours, college fairs that will be available for you in your high school. And again, a lot of these college fairs are virtual, and you can actually take virtual tours of campuses as well. There are some campuses that still open and will allow students to do tours on campus. I would advise you to go to the college website and contact the admissions department, so that way you can get an idea of, are they open to having students visit the campus, as well as are they doing any college visits or any virtual meetings with admissions rep, so that way you can get your questions answered. Okay. And one department that I would encourage you is to contact is whatever department supports students with disabilities. Our office of accessibility resources at OCC, we are open Monday through Fridays from the hours of 8:30 to 4 p.m. And you can reach out to us anytime you have questions about what type of support services we offer at OCC. The admission process and the registration for services, they don't happen at the same time. They are independent of one another. So if you were to apply to OCC, we would encourage you to reach out to our office to let us know that you are interested in receiving services, and that's a completely different process from applying to college. There are some books available for students with disabilities to help them make an informed college choice. Like the Peterson College for Students with Learning Disabilities. It's a great book to look at. The K&W Guides to College for Students with Learning Differences is another great one. So there are definitely resources out there to help you make an informed decision. Now, another question: if money was no object, what kind of job would you love to do? What would be your dream job? You could put that in the chat area. My dream job was always to build computers and create programs. Uh, I had a little journey in college trying to find myself. Um, but on the side, I do websites, I do flyers. I'm a graphic design artist, and my dream job would to be, something in that realm of design. But what I'm doing right now is my passion, helping people out, helping young people out in particular. I've been doing it for, over the past 14 years, making sure that young people like you, are able to attain their dreams and provide as much resources as well as support as I can. But what is your dream job? What is something that you inspire to do? So just you can answer that in the chat area right now. So one of the things about college is you're going to have to choose a major. And a major is pretty much a subject that you're interested in studying to help build knowledge and skills around that area of your career interests. You can earn different types of degrees based on the major that you choose. We at OCC provide associate's degree, where you can go on to a four-year institute and earn a bachelor's, or go to a university and go get a professional diploma like a PhD or a medical license or a law degree. Each institute has requirements on how you attain those degrees. And each majors have a set number of courses you need to pass to get the degree you desire. Now, most colleges, or most majors rather, do require you to take general study courses, which is math, English, and science. So it's important that when you do your research and you identify the major you want to study, you also look at the course requirements, because it's important. A lot of students do not realize that certain courses may be more math heavy than others. If math was something that you struggle with in high school, you definitely want to make sure that if you're interested in, for example, in the computer field, one of the things you could look at or ask colleges is how many math classes would I need to get this degree? And what kind of supports are in place to help me because I did struggle with math in high school. So it's important that you look at the courses to get a better idea of, what are some potential roadblocks or barriers that you may need to overcome. And one of the advantages that you have now is that you haven't started college yet. So you can do all this planning and, making sure that you have all these resources available before you go to college. So when considering the college, there's different types. And as I mentioned before, there's community colleges, there's four-year colleges and universities, and then there's other options in terms of different types of colleges. So community college will often offer only an associate's degree, and most associate programs are 2 years of a bachelor's degree. An example of that is that at OCC we have computer science, associate degree in computer science, and it's actually the first 2 years of a bachelor's degree in computer science. So students who are looking to get their bachelor's degree in that area, they would be able to accomplish their first 2 years at a community college. And some of the advantages of doing that is lesser course, as well as smaller classroom sizes, so that when you go on to your bachelor's degree, you have that foundational knowledge, as well as it can be a way to save costs before you go on to a four-year college. A lot of community colleges also offer career-specific degrees and licenses or certificate programs. An example of that is that we have computer information systems. And what makes that program different from computer science is that that degree allows you to study in a particular area. If you're interested in web design, if you're interested in networking, or you're interested in programming, that degree is designed to make sure that once you complete your associates, that you're able to go into the workforce and work immediately with that degree. Okay? Now, four-year colleges and universities can be public or private. As I mentioned before, OCC is a public institute, as well as SUNY Binghamton, Buffalo, Albany. Those are four-year colleges within the public SUNY system. SU would be considered private. Lemoyne would be considered private. So you have to do your homework in terms of identifying what is the best fit for you. Public colleges tend to be less expensive than private colleges, but also private colleges are endowed um, with a lot of alumni giving back to these institutes and having resources like different types of scholarships to make sure that students who would normally be able to afford to go to these colleges can attain. So it pays to do your homework and look at both options when choosing a college. Also, students have to meet certain requirements to be accepted. So community colleges oftentimes accept students with a high school diploma or a high school equivalency degree, GED, whereas a four-year college or university may have additional requirements outside of just your high school diploma. They may require you to take a SAT or ACT test. They may require an essay, letters of recommendations. So there's different types of requirements to get into a four-year college and university. So it's important that you speak to your guidance counselor and make sure that you have these requirements, as well as try to figure out what steps you need to do to attain those requirements. And different from a community college, at a four-year college and university, you can receive your bachelor's, you can receive your master's degree, as well as a doctorate or a professional license. So if you're looking to get into a career like lawyer or become a doctor, you may need to attend a four-year institute and able to do that. Now, there's other types of colleges as well. There are technical colleges and institutes. These colleges tend to be very similar to community colleges, where they offer associate's degree. Some of the difference between a community college and a technical college is that technical colleges tend to have their courses that are more hands-on and more direct into the field of interest. And they also oftentimes have instructors who are in that field of interest that you're looking to get into. So when you're looking at a community college and a technical college, realize that the difference between the two is that technical colleges tend to be more hands-on and have professionals within the fields teaching those courses. But also there are some things you may want to consider when going to a technical college, is that a lot of the credits in most technical colleges do not transfer into a bachelor's degree program. So as I mentioned before, most college programs at a community college are the first 2 years of a bachelor's degree, whereas at technical colleges or institutes, that may not be the case. And you really need to do your homework to make sure that the credits that you receive from these colleges will transfer if you decide to go on to attain a bachelor's. There are also historical Black colleges and universities. These are other institutes you may want to consider. There are women colleges out there, colleges that were originally designed to educate women at a time when women didn't have easy access to education. So what you see now on your screen is a career pathway exploration chart. And this is used to help guide students in terms of what degrees they need for the field of interest. For example, if you're interested in being a nurse, well, you may need to get an associate's degree. If you're interested in becoming a lawyer, you may need to get your bachelor's plus an additional 4 years of college in law school to become a lawyer. So it's important that you start thinking about what career interests that you have and what degree you need to get into that field. I know that you did a a career exploration session with scholars, but this is an attachment to that because you don't separate academics from careers, because oftentimes the career interest will require you to get a advanced training, and that could be either in college or it can be a certificate program. A lot of entry-level positions may not require that you get a college degree. For example, if you're interested in being a library, a security guard or a postal clerk, which is under the social, human, and government section, all you would need is your your high school diploma. Or if you want to work as an auto body repairman, which is under engineering technology, again, you would need your high school diploma. But if you were interested in being in automotive tech, then you would need at least some years of college or an associate's degree. So this chart will be available for you, and I'm gonna give you a couple of minutes just to look at this chart because it's important that you start thinking about what are the necessary steps for me to attain my career interests. Now, identifying your interests would probably be the first, what you're doing right now, to really identify what careers I'm interested in. And again, I would encourage you to reach out to your guidance counselor and talk about some ways to figure out what is an ideal career for me, what careers I'm interested in. There are assessment resources available for you. Some of these assessments gauges your personality, what jobs fit your personality type. There are some skill assessments based on the skills that you have now, which are the best fields for you. So there's different ways to figure out what type of career interest you may have. It's okay if right now you're not sure what it is that you want to do in terms of your career, but you can start mapping down or creating a list of all the things that you're interested in, and your guidance counselor should be able to help you out. On this slide, you'll see that I provided you with some additional resources to help you out. My Big Future Major and Career Search is part of the College Board website, and it's a really good site that links majors and careers, so you can explore that. Mapping Your Future is another great resource as well, just to give you an idea of what type of skills I would need to be in a particular field. And My Next Move, which is part of the ONET family, which is something that is supported by the Department of Labor, is another great site to use. And these sites do provide links to take those type of assessments that I mentioned earlier, but it's a really good resource to start thinking about matching your career interests with the studies you may need in college. So I would start looking at these different sites and definitely taking advantage of the time I have now, especially those who are undecided, to get a different feel of what those different fields may look like and what would be the requirements to get into those fields. Some of these, most of these websites that I provide also provide video links, which shows you video of, what it is, a day in the life in that career. Okay. So applying for college, there's two ways to apply for college. Really three, if you consider paper applications. But there are face-to-face and there's also online. And online seems to be the one that most people use. So it's important that if you're applying for college, choose a method that works best for you. But again, online seems to be the one that people use the most. And each college has its own application requirements. As I mentioned before, some may require you to take SATs, bring letter of recommendations, and those are typically 4 years, or universities. Community colleges, they require you to submit your high school transcripts, just like a 4-year college or university. But if you graduate and decide to apply to community college after graduation, you would still need your high school transcript, which would need your high school transcript and your high school diploma. And these are things that your guidance counselor can work with you on. Now, one thing that I do want to mention is that each college does have its own deadline in terms of when these materials are needed. So it's important that you check with the college website and figure out what deadlines are. When do I need to submit an application for the spring semester or the fall 2021 semester? And one thing that I would also, put on your radar is that some colleges have what they call a rolling admissions. And that's something that's commonly found at community colleges. And a rolling admissions mean that you can apply to a particular program at that college up to the point where there's no longer room. So let's say that for OCC, you were interested in getting into the computer science program. You would be able to apply for that program up to the start of fall 2021, as long as there's room in that program for you. So rolling admissions mean you can apply at any time, whereas traditional four-year colleges and universities, there are deadlines for you to adhere to before you can apply. So please check with your college, your guidance counselor, as well as check the college website, so that way you know when the deadlines are for applying for the colleges. Now we are in I guess, a different day and age because of COVID, and some colleges have laxed their requirements. So again, it's important that you check the college website to make sure that you're getting that information correctly, and also communicate with your guidance counselor, who will be assisting you in sending your documents off to the colleges that you're interested in. Now, there is a program called the Common App, and this program allows you to apply to hundreds of colleges at the same time. The Common App is oftentimes used for students who are going to four-year colleges, universities, and this is something your guidance counselor does work with you on, so that way you can input your information into the Common App and then apply to the college all at once. Now, SUNY has its own website. Although you can apply to SUNY through the Common App, it's encouraged that if you are going to apply to a SUNY four-year or a university, to use the SUNY's website, and speak to your guidance counselor as well, because as I mentioned before, certain colleges may have fees to pay, that you have to pay to apply for them. Some applications may be free, others there may be a fee attached to it. So definitely speak to your guidance counselor. If you find that you're in a position where you cannot pay the application fee, your guidance counselor may be able to get you an application fee waiver. And a fee waiver will allow you to apply for college and waive the application fee. So if you sense the theme of what I'm saying here, is make sure that you are in step with your guidance counselor throughout this whole entire process. Now, I'm just going to give a basic information about financial aid. Financial aid is designed to help students who wouldn't typically be able to afford tuition to pay for college. There are different types of aids. Some you may have to pay back, like student loans, and some you do not have to pay back, like grants. So grants are, generally money that students who are eligible for financial aid would receive. It varies from state to state. In New York, we have Pell, which is the federal grant, and that's grant you get from the federal government, which you do not have to repay. And New York State has what they call TAP. And TAP is a grant that you get from New York State that you do not have to repay. But it's important that you know that although you don't have to repay these grants back, there is a time limit to how many times you can apply for the grant. So that's something that you should speak to your guidance counselor about, or you can contact a college financial aid office and they'll be able to help you out and answer any questions. But grants is one of those type of aids that you do not have to repay, but there is a limit on how long and how many times you can use it. Student loans are money that you borrow that does have to be repaid. And normally you do not have to start payment on student loans until after you graduate. And there are payment options available for students who find themselves unemployed after going to college, whereas you can hold off payments until you do have a job. So student loans, again, is money that you have to pay back, but typically you do not pay back student loans until after you graduate or has left the college. And work studies is, it's more or less employment students are able to attain through financial aid. where you earn money. You do not have to pay this money back as well. But it does require you to work with different departments. You may require an interview. This is student employment, and excuse me. And again, it's money that you do not have to pay back, but it's money that students earn through employment. And now there's scholarships. Again, scholarships are awards given to students based on sports, academic achievement, background. There are plenty different scholarships available for students. Again, contact your guidance counselor. But also one thing that I encourage students, and this goes back to the comment I made about public and private colleges, is that there may be scholarships available at the college you're attending to help students in need. And some of them may be need-based scholarships. So it's important that when you do the college application process that you communicate with the college financial aid office. And if you find that financial aid is not helping, is not meeting the cost that you need for college, or you find that you're still pretty much short of the tuition cost, I would encourage you to contact financial aid and ask them, are there any scholarships available for me to help me offset these courses? One of the advantages of private colleges is because they get endowed and they do receive money from alumni, is that there may be alumni scholarships available for students in need. So it's important that when you do this process and you're looking at the cost of college, that you don't get discouraged, that realize that financial aid office is there to help you, and see if there's a way of being able to receive any type of scholarships or any additional funds that may help you with the tuition costs. So it's your senior year. What are some of the things that you should be thinking about? You should be leading your IEP meetings at this point. And what I mean by that is you should be more vocal. This is going to be your last year in high school, and you want to make sure that you are on track to not only graduate, but on track to, move forward after high school, making sure that you ask the questions of who do I go to if I'm interested in applying to college? Are there any agencies out there to help me with that? What are accommodations going to look like in high school versus college? And these are things you can start asking these questions during these meetings, and also ask if you can speak to people who can provide you with those answers and provide resources for you after you graduate from high school. Meet with your guidance counselor early in the year and start discussing your plans, especially if you're going to apply to a four-year college or university. Because again, they do have deadlines, they do have application fees that you may have to pay. There may be requirements like SATs that you may need to take and able to apply for these colleges. So it's important that you meet with your guidance counselor very early so you can start mapping out and planning for your next steps. Now, you should be also exploring assistive technologies that you may need in college. And assistive technologies, or AT, are devices to aid students. For example, we use a program called Dragon, which is a speech-to-text program. And these may be things that you are not familiar with in high school that you may have to become familiar with in college, because college tend to be more technically driven. So if you are accustomed to having someone read an exam to you, oftentimes college will provide you with speech-to-text programs like Kurzweil, which has the computers read the exams to you. There's also devices like smart pen, tape recorders. So it's important that you start looking into these different devices or resources, so that way the transition from high school to college can be a lot smoother, as well as trying to figure out what devices the college that your college that you are applying to and intending to enroll, what programs that they use, and when can I get familiarized with these type of programs. Now, one of the other tasks is to start visiting colleges. OCC's campus is open. We do have a screening process before we allow students on campus. But it's important that you contact the universities or the colleges that you're interested in attending to get an idea. Are they allowing on site visits? Are you allowed to come on campus? Because all colleges have different procedures. But it's important that you start thinking about get a look at these colleges to see if they're a good fit for you, identifying where the classrooms are held, or in my case, where the cafeteria is located. But start visiting college early in the year, especially in upstate New York where we get these snowstorms. So you want to make sure that you can do it when it's great weather out. And to repeat what I mentioned earlier, pay attention to that instructions and deadline. Again, certain colleges have different requirements. It's important that you pay attention to these requirements, as well as make sure that you're within those deadlines when you apply. And this is colleges tend to be a self-navigating system, meaning that a lot of this you will be doing on your own. There are resources on campus available to advocate for you, like my office. Kathy is in a position to advocate for you. But it's important that you learn to advocate for yourself. And this is why I mentioned leading your IEP meetings. This could be the first step of you really speaking about the accommodations that you need, how you like to learn, and being able to really speak up for yourself. So please start developing those skills early, and leading your IEP meetings could be the first step. Continue to explore college majors that are consistent with your college goals. And what I mean by that is that it's important that you identify what your career interests are, but making sure that you're taking majors that are that allows you to get into the field or the career pathways that you're interested in. I mentioned computer science and computer information systems on purpose because those are two separate different degrees. And oftentimes students who enroll in computer science don't necessarily intend on moving forward beyond the associate's degree. They just want to work and not realizing that computer information system is a better fit because that program is designed to get you immediately in the work field as versus computer science, which is really designed to help you transfer into a bachelor's program. So it's important that you start looking at these things, looking at required courses for those majors, and really starting to identify if I'm interested in being a police officer, what degree do I need? Do I have to study criminal justice? Which I would tell you right now, the answer is no for particular positions in police field. Some just requires a degree, or some just require that you take college courses. So it's important that you look at the requirements for those careers and align those with your college major. Now, as I mentioned before, accommodations in college is going to be very different in high school, and the procedures may be different as well. At OCC, we encourage students to submit their IEPs, 504s, and the psych vals to our office once accepted to OCC. So that way we can bring you into our office, conduct the intake, and help ensure that you get your accommodations before classes start. Now, in college, this process happens whenever you start the process. And what I mean by that is that our office and most college offices that help students with disabilities, we do not get the information that you need accommodations. It's your job to make the college aware that you are attending the college and you're going to need accommodations and particular services. So this goes back to that advocacy part. It's going to be your responsibility to make sure that you make the college aware that you need accommodations. And most offices have different procedures, but it is going to be your responsibility to make sure that you get those IEPs and 504s into those departments so that way you can be accommodated. Now, when you're applying for college and you're mapping out the colleges that you're interested in, I encourage you to at least apply to 2 colleges or more. So that way you have your college that you want to go to, but you also have a backup plan. You don't ever want to apply to one school and not get accepted and have to do that whole entire process all over again. So I encourage you to apply to at least 2 colleges. And it's okay to apply to a college that you feel is a reach. And what I mean by reach is a college that you don't you meet the criteria, but you don't necessarily feel like you'll get accepted. I would say still apply. So that way you apply to a school that you may get into, but also apply to a school that you know you will definitely get into. And I don't want to say definite as if nothing's really definitive, but one that you are strongly believe that you'll get into. So always apply to more than one college. All right. And contact your local vocational like Access VR, contact those offices so that way you can have somebody that can help provide services for you while you're in college. This is something that I want to highlight. A lot of students receive resource room in high school and get that one-on-one. In college, you're not going to be able, you're not going to necessarily get that one-on-one outside of tutoring. And some colleges have that as a separate service from their office that supports students with disabilities. So it's important that you start reaching out to these organizations now. Access VR is a good one. If you are a student who may need a mentor or aid, I would encourage you to contact local organizations so that way you can have an aide or a mentor while you're in college that can attend classes with you, that can help assimilate you to college, as well as somebody that can be that one-on-one support you need. So if you know there are services you're going to need in high school, in college, it's important that you start looking at these services now, so that way you can transition into college smoothly and continue to receive the support that you received in high school. So that's the end of my presentation. What I have now is, some resources that I use to create this PowerPoint. And please, by all means, you can check out the links. Going to college is a resource for teens with disability. It was something created by the VCU, the College of Virginia Commonwealth University. It's a great resource on the website. It has a before you attend college, during you attend steps what to do while you're in college, impact with tons of resources to help you out, as well as the NACAC, college awareness and planning for families and counselors and communities. This is another resource that I use. It's really good in terms of really helping you with the language, some of the things to expect when you apply to college, as well as, any information that I may not have gone over this presentation. You may be able to get it through this link. It's very in-depth and detailed. So that's my presentation. Again, my name is Jay. And if you have any questions, my contact information is on the screen. Feel free, to send me an email and I'll do my best to answer any questions. For students who are looking to attend OCC, if you have any questions in regards to our office, again, you can send me an email. I'd be more than glad to help you. If you have any questions about OCC in general, send me an email. And if I'm not able to answer those questions, I will definitely point you in the right direction. So I just want to thank everyone for attending this presentation. And I'm going to hand it off to Kathy.
Thank you, Jay. That was great. And so many good takeaways from that. The one big one that I kept hearing is make sure that we're reaching out to guidance counselors and developing those relationships and asking lots of questions because they are there to help you that senior year to help set you on this path. So thank you so much, Jay.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
That was great. Do we have any questions for the folks who are on the call now? If you want to put them in the chat. If not, that is okay too. You can reach out to Jay or myself with any questions. We're ending a little bit early. I just want to show you real quick, actually, since we have a couple minutes, I'm going to show you how to sign up if you're interested in coming to an open house. So I'm going to share my screen really quick. All right, bear with me. So here we go. So this is our website. It's sunyocc.edu/open house. And if you scroll down here, it says open house sessions. There's an open house RSVP form. You're going to want to click on that. We have one date left for our fall sessions, which is December 4th. And with the open houses, you have an option. You can attend in person. They do 9 to 12 in the morning. Or if you don't feel comfortable yet venturing out into campus, any concerns with COVID, you can do a virtual open house, which is from 10 a.m. to 11, and you would sign up for that one as well by clicking on the open house RSVP. So also, if you continue to go down, it just talks a little bit about the next steps. It gives you a little overview of OCC. We have currently 8 schools of OCC degree programs that you can explore, and that will be looked at further on those open house days. They'll ask you which school you're interested in, and you'll get more information for that specific school. If you're ready, you can apply now, and there is a scholarship button. Also, our recruiters who you could speak to at any time are listed here on the website. But there's also this great campus tour that we can share with you now if you want. It's a couple minutes long. I'll go ahead and play that for you.
Hi, my name is Alex.
And I'm Mariana.
And we work for OCC, and we're going to take you around campus today. All right, so here we are in the SRC arena. Most people who have been to our campus before have been to the arena for some type of event, whether it's an SEC event or a community-based event. We have high school playoffs for basketball, wrestling. We do cheerleading competitions in here. There's always something going on in the SRC arena. Within the SRC arena, we also have the Southwest YMCA, which is a great place to come, get a workout in. You have full access to everything that the Y has to offer. So you want to just get a quick workout, you want to join one of the classes that are already in session. Everything you will need is right here on our campus. What's up, Mayor?
And guess what? The fees included in your tuition if you're an OCC student, so you can use it anytime you want. So right now we're at Student Central, and if students have any questions throughout the semester, they can stop by the front desk and ask one of the representatives. Welcome to the Learning Center, where if you're struggling academically, you can get course-specific tutoring, and the tutoring is free of charge. Right now we're hanging out in the Laser Lounge. This is a place where students can come in between classes, hang out, maybe play some ping pong or play some pool.
Now we've made it to Coulter Library, where we have 3 stories full of resources available for all students.
First floor, totally quiet floor.
Second floor is great for research and reference.
And the third floor is for group projects.
So now we're in OCC's main campus bookstore, a great place to buy school supplies, college apparel, backpacks, food, anything to get you through a day on campus.
And through our partnership with Barnes & Noble, we offer students our Box of Books program, which allows them to save up to 50% on textbooks.
So here at OCC, we have 4 different residence hall buildings on campus. So if you're looking to go away to school and get that on-campus life experience, you can absolutely do that here.
Now let's go inside and check it out.
Great. So that is a quick overview of the campus. Stay tuned next week again, or excuse me, on the 2nd is our next session. That is going to be given by Nancy Carr, the director of OAR, and we'll be talking about disability and self-disclosure. We'll also have another video specifically for our OAR office. So in the meantime, if you have any questions, please let us know. But if not, we're all set for today.